All right, we are here with Sean Bormet. We've got 5 questions. We've got 3 submitted ones we'll save for the end. But we were talking a little bit earlier about how we're kind of in this building phase of the season, and every week kind of looks a little bit different week to week, and it led to a conversation about how over the course of a 5 month season, there's lots of peaks, lots of valleys that you're trying to manage, and you've kind of adjusted that over the years too. So. Can you talk on that a little bit and how you manage a 5 month season when there's events you want to peak for, and then obviously March at the end of the season?
So we're at basically the tail end of a 2 month building phase where there's actually been a lot happening. There's a lot of variables, but there's not as much news to talk about because we're not competing, and it's basically the monotony of some hard training. But in the phases we look at, we have our preseason phase, then we enter our full-time training phase, which we've been in for a couple weeks now. And we're basically building through the first semester and kind of using the Cliff Keen Las Vegas tournament as, a peaking point for this first semester. And, over the course of the last, 7 to 10 years, we've kind of been subtly tweaking that system as we measure it, kind of measure everything we're doing, and then make small adjustments. And sometimes it's based on your roster and what you're working with. But that tournament is a great simulation because it's really one of our only 2-day tournaments that we get outside of the Big Ten, the NCAA tournament. A lot of the other competitions are dual meets based on our academic schedule and where we feel is an important deloading period for our team before we hit the second semester. We don't usually do a holiday tournament with all the varsity guys. So that Las Vegas tournament at the very beginning of December, we're peaking up through that. And then after that tournament, we'll have sort of a deloading phase and another building phase as we get ready for the Big Ten dual season and as we start to lean into our peaking phase for the month of March. So there's really two different peaking points. Sometimes depending on your Big Ten dual season, there's like a lot of peaks and valleys within that very tough, exciting Big Ten dual 6-week phase of all of our dual meets. And then sometimes it's individual based. I mean, you can have a guy and he might wrestle 3 back-to-back dual meets to top 3-4 guys in the country, and some other guys have lighter weeks. So within that Big Ten dual season, we start to break down just individual work and kind of what the volume and intensity looks like for each guy.
Talking about the Cliff Keen Wrestling Club, we've got Mason getting ready to compete again at the Pan Am Games. So can you touch on, maybe his last couple months coming off the Worlds and then getting ready for this event next week?
Coming off the Worlds, obviously Mason was really excited about, just coming back strong, getting that bronze medal, knew he was right in that match, just had to close the door in terms of getting to the finals and having a shot at the gold. So he was super excited. And really motivated to continue, training and building as he moves into this next Olympic year. Got a call pretty quick from USA Wrestling about the opportunity for Pan Am Games. And the Continental Games are actually, sort of a reflection of the Olympic Games. The Continentals, they put a lot of emphasis into it. There's a lot of show wrapped around it, so it's kind of an exciting event, and I think it'll actually be a great experience for Mason as he continues to prepare for his Olympic run. But he was really excited to compete. He's currently at the Olympic Training Center for a quick 1-week preparation camp with the team, and then he competes next Wednesday in Santiago, Chile. So we're all excited for him. I know he's pumped to compete and get a chance to wrestle again.
Okay, a couple submitted questions. The first is a little bit of a follow-up to what we talked about last week with, how you kind of determine your starting lineup. And, one of those pieces is, we've got some in-room matches tomorrow, simulation matches. So what is the value you place on that, and what's kind of the purpose of those matches?
So those, one of the most important factors for these simulation matches is really just simulating that first time making weight and going through the process. For every guy, so we're doing that before they actually go compete. So just managing their weight throughout the week, getting their weight down. We have a new 2-hour window for all competitions. So, making weight, having a 2-hour window to recover, and then go through your warm-up routine and then jump into matches, which, we'll do in-room matches, which are nice. We have NCAA officials come in, they officiate these matches. The rest of the guys are in the room, kind of watching, staying warm. It gives our coaching staff an opportunity to sit back and evaluate the matches, but also, how they're preparing for each match, how they're cooling down after each match, just making sure that their routine is in line with what we think it should be. And then, we video all those matches, so we have an opportunity to break down the wrestling, kind of go through some film with them after these matches. But it's really just an opportunity to simulate a competition, make sure they know how their body felt down at weight, how they managed it. If they got to make any adjustments, we can talk about it. That gives us 2 weeks before the Michigan State Open, where they'll actually make weight and compete officially. This year, I think it's also extra important because we do have a lot of new rules, and with these NCAA officials officiating the matches, they will feel these rules and kind of go through the process with official points being scored and put on the board.
Another submitted question is how do you balance kind of teamwork where you've got full team practices versus maybe one-off or small groups or one-on-ones, individual work with individuals?
Yeah, that's a great question, especially for our sport, because there's a lot of importance on team training, team energy, just morale in the training environment with the entire team, and the energy of 37 guys plus all of our club wrestlers in a room training hard, pushing through hard practices and live combat minutes. But there's also a huge premium on individual work with guys based on their areas of concentration, what they may need in terms of addressing their own technique and tactics within their own wrestling, sometimes also for opponents that they may be facing in the weeks ahead, or somebody that we're preparing for that we know will be one of the main competitors in March. So there's a lot of balance between, we have set team workouts throughout the week, and then we also have a lot of individual time we spend in the mornings with guys working on their own individual areas, sometimes small group, a lot of times it's just 2 guys. And then sometimes that individual work's also broken down at the end of a team practice for an extra 10, 15 minutes of individual work.
Quick doorbell break.
Yeah, sorry.
Last question is, you're participating a little bit in the NWA Coaches Clinic this weekend. Is in Ann Arbor. How valuable is that for you to be kind of involved with the state association?
Yeah, so the Michigan Wrestling Association Coaches Clinic, and they have their Hall of Fame banquet in Ann Arbor this weekend on Friday and Saturday. They have a great turnout. So, I look at it as, as one of the premier Division I college programs in the state. I think we have a responsibility to stay really connected and help in any way we can continue to raise the level of wrestling in the state of Michigan. So we have Adam Kuhn will be doing a 1-hour technique session with that coaches group. I will be doing a 1-hour technique and tactic, and somewhat with program operations, some discussions, question and answer with that group. And then we also have an RTC component for an hour and a half on Friday night that Sergey Belglazov will be doing a session for them. So, I think it's important to contribute and give back to the state in any way we can, help continue to raise the level. We've got a lot of great coaches in this state. It's great that they come together. I know they have a rules component for high school association. Some of those rules, and I know some of the, they go through different nuances of changes. But it's great participation on their end, and I think it's important that we contribute back. So excited to be hosting that here in Ann Arbor this year and be involved and see all those coaches on Friday.
All right, Sean, thank you, and go Blue.
Go Blue.